Boom,
You're late.
boom, go. Love it. Love it. So yeah, I was talking to Natalie when we were on while you were waiting. Sorry to have made you
Uh-huh.
wait. How many minutes would you say you waited?
It wasn't this long at all, but three.
In three, two, one. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys. Episode number 68. Mr. Shantanesen, how are you feeling tonight, big guy?
Good. Happy New Year. And happy Armenian Christmas to all our Armenians. It is January 6th. It is the first time since we spoke from the new year.
Yeah.
How's it going for you?
So far, so good. It's been. Hopefully, my internet just didn't go on me. So far,
Is it New Year, New You?
definitely is. Yeah. Does it? Do I look new? I got a new hairstyle happening. You can see. Got a little side part comb over situation. It's been going.
So today, what was that?
It's been going pretty well so far. I can explain why in I guess a few minutes. What were you saying today? What?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to hear about what's going on with you. But since we haven't spoken since God knows how long, we were off last week, right?
Last minute, I had to cancel, and then it was just New Year. So
Yeah. But today we're going to talk about, since it's New Year, New You, some goals. I think what your goals are, what my goals are for the year. Spoiler alert: we're not canceling the podcast, so you guys are still stuck with us.
yeah, big time. We're on for at least another year as far as the contract.
Yeah, we signed our year contract, so Spotify wanted us for another year, so we're just gonna stick it. They tried to negotiate us down with Joe Rogan and this and that, and we just said, "Listen, we'll give you another year."
Nobody fucking knows us.
So we're going to talk about some books you've read, and we're going to talk about like what the fuck is Bitcoin.
I
still don't get it, but we'll talk about it.
Big. Okay.
It's the technology, bro.
You can use this. What is this? A new way of buying shit at a vending machine? Like you use it at vending machine?
Everyone's going to be millionaires, and we're just sitting here like idiots talking shit about Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're the only losers that didn't buy into the hype.
So get into it. What's the deal, man? What's going on? What's new? Tell everyone. Tell me too.
So I've been kind of pissed off Sacco too, because he's very, very into writing in journals with like really, really fancy pens. And like I made the comment that like I've been journaling, and he got like really upset because I do it all electronically. Like I do it cross-platform, so I can like start it from my desktop and like I can continue on my iPhone, and if I wanted to go on my Mac, on my laptop or whatever. So I've been doing it every day. I'm on like a 9-day streak now. I started a few days before the new year, and I've been writing down a lot of my goals, and a couple of them is one of them is that I want to get into real estate, because I was a little bit late to the party, but I finally listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know why I'm so late in listening to that. When did you say that you listened to, or when did you say you read it? Because I don't know at the time if they had Audible.
No, I read it. So I'm 35 years old right now. I think I read it when I was 22 years old. I forgot who gave me. Someone gave me the book. I'm still, because that book really sparked my interest into like getting into like business and stuff. So I'm like, I've been trying to remember who the fuck gave me that book.
I don't know, but I will tell you this right now. It was written in 1997. So it's not that
Still,
old.
yeah.
I thought it was like 19, I don't know, not 60s, 70s, but like 80s. But
Hmm.
did Ariet, your aunt, give it to you? The real estate
No,
investor?
no. I wish she's got some wisdom, man.
Yeah, she does. So I've been on like a binge. Like I've been now after listening to that on Sunday, I've been listening to like a bunch of them and gaining like a lot of different perspective. But basically what I want to do is I want to talk about real estate with you after this. But yeah, I've been writing down a lot of my goals. One of them is I already like I'm convincing my brain that it's already happened. But one of them is I want a Ferrari, right? And
This year or just in general?
no, in general, like I want to get a
Okay.
Ferrari. I want kids. It's one of those goals. Like I'm not. I don't even know if I'm ready for it in the near future. I don't even think I want it in the near future.
The Ferrari or the kids?
Both, but yeah. Um, as far as from a goals perspective, man, this is getting exciting because I pretty much I write it down every day, and I've been doing the whole affirmation thing, writing down. I'm no longer an anxious wreck. I'm kind. I'm a very kind and caring person, according to me and my journal.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so amongst a bunch of other things, but I really wanted to drive home the fact that this really does ground you and trains your brain. I can't believe I didn't get into it sooner, but writing shit down that you may not necessarily be or may not necessarily have just yet, writing down that you are it or plan to do it. Very, very nice. Yes, Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, that was on my list of next ones.
It's
I'll
basically
get to.
that. Just write down what you want that you're not there yet, and it starts exactly what you're talking about. It starts starts to become believable and not far fetched.
What's something on your list of not there yet, but
So, me and Betty, since we've been together, like when we got engaged, we have been writing down our goals for the year, right? And so we went to dinner last week together, and there are goals for this year. Um, and it's funny, we look back at our previous year's goal, and it's crazy how things have like changed so much. Where our first year's goals was like have 5,000 in our savings.
5,000? That's crazy.
Yeah, and we look at that, we're like, wow, like at that time and it's still a lot of money. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll take 5Gs all day right now, especially we're getting that 600 stimulus. um,
322 for me.
and it's crazy how we sit back, and at that time it was so much money for us, and it's just the evolution of you doing this. And um, so we digress. So we usually do year goals, right? So like not far out goals. So one of our goals, I just asked her to send it to me. One was kind of like how much we want to make for the year income. A couple of things we want to do, right? Like go on vacation, like a sick vacation. And we plan it out like exactly what we want. Like the year before, it was like we want to go to Europe, Italy, like different countries. And we did that the previous year, whatever it was. So this year it's go to Mexico. We want to do Europe, but with COVID and stuff, we can't control that. Um, some other things is like we want how much we want in our savings and how much we want to invest
Yeah.
into the stock market. And
Ooh, stock market, huh? I
yeah,
didn't know you knew what that was.
I Googled it the other day and just,
Yeah, that's what I did too.
yeah.
I said a
And
shot needs to know about this whole market of stocks.
and then another one was like, we want to have Leo have an account too. We have some money we want to put for him. Um, and I'm gonna take some interest on that shit when he gets older. Take a
Tax
lot
it.
of interest.
Tax that shit.
Yeah. Our net worth, what we want our net worth to be, over $1 million net worth.
Ooh, fancy.
Because obviously net worth companies, like it goes off of how much debt you have to how much assets and cash you have. So right now we're not near a million,
Are you
because of
invested
the
in the stock
house.
market at all?
Right now, no.
Nothing.
So
You're all you've liquidated everything a while ago.
yeah, liquidate a while back, and then Betty got a bunch of stock from Carvana for being there for a while, a good amount, healthy amount,
Nice.
very healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it was like she got it at like 60 a share. It was like 70, 80. I'm like, let's just sell. We could do better things with this money as far as like make more. Because I was like, Carvana stock's not going to blow up. It's not going to be fucking Amazon.
Bad move.
Do you want to know what their stock is right now?
Probably like 250.
250 on the dot.
A bad move.
So I don't take my financial advice anymore. Hired a financial guy,
Yeah,
financial advisor. But he did say it was the right move at the time, because most financial planners don't believe in single stocks.
right.
Like, as far as
Diversify
like,
and just yeah.
yeah. So I made the right move, to be fair.
Did so I've been doing a lot of like listening and like seeing what other people have been doing. I have a gut feeling that um the safe measure in this is investing in the stock market, but invest in everything in something that everybody else invests in. And I have a feeling that the stock market as a whole, if you're investing in the whole stock market, because you can invest in the whole stock market, um, and you can invest in the S&P 500, and both have generated a 6 to 8% roughly return year over year.
Year over year.
And I, the hard part for me is that if you're going to be investing in something that everybody else is investing in, expecting to be different or getting different results than everybody else, yeah, it's a safe bet, but man, who said it, or what was the phrase? There is money on the other side of fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like you're really not going to be making a whole lot investing in, you know, low risk stocks. However, it's
No.
definitely much better than investing in a savings account, but that's not what this discussion is really about, I don't think. That's why
But
that why you're not invested in the stock market?
so for me, I was going all in on real estate. Um, but after kind of like having a little bit more money now, and it's like, okay, you kind of have to diversify your risk a little bit, right? Because if I go all in on real estate, something happens, now I'm leveraged too much to if I need something. So it's like, talk to my financial planner, and he's not like, yeah, of course he's going to say get into the stock market because that's how they make money. But he just made a good point where he's just like, dude, if something happens, you're fucked. So you want to have, instead of money sitting in the bank, put it in the stock market. So you don't just spend it and it's just sitting there. You don't need it. You don't touch it. You don't look at it, and you just add into it a little bit here and there when as you go. Because I don't have retirement. I don't have 401k. I don't have fucking pension, like you don't either, right? So it's like we have to start thinking for that time.
I have businesses. I have a business though. That's the thing, is that I don't have a 401k, but I have a business. With that being said, you're 100% right. I did look into it. I have it on my to-do list actually of things I got to do. Is look, I have it right here. Set up S&P. It's
Yeah, it's a reminder. Yeah.
it's right there. I'm sorry that you can't really see it, but it's right there.
Podcast with Shant. Yeah, podcast with Shant.
Right, and then right there is the S&P. And I have a gut feeling that, okay, I'll be invested in it for a very, very short term, but I really do want instead to be all in on real estate, whether it be 1 or 10 or whatever. But I've been getting more and more into the idea of buy and hold, not flip. Could you tell me a little bit about the difference between buy and hold rental investment versus flip investment? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because both are very, very, very interesting to me. I just like the idea of being a landlord, and
Yeah. Well, being a landlord does suck. Like, it's not fun, right? Like it's, but
about it.
did you watch The Founder?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it more for the fact that it was about restaurant
And the
business.
franchise. That's why I wanted you to watch it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. And did you get the key part in it where McDonald's always owns the building?
Right. They're putting the tenant in there, but the tenant is financing their mortgage.
Everything through them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Like that was like my favorite part.
It's genius.
Yeah.
I love that. But tell me a little bit about your thoughts about flips versus buy and hold.
Yeah.
Landlording.
I will. And I want to hang on. I'm going to write this down. Flips. Because before we get into that, because I was always hesitant to get into and we'll talk about the stock market here too, the stock market and real estate, because I always felt like at the time it was too high, right? Like real estate was at an all-time high. The S&P 500 is at an all-time high, right? Do you agree? Like that's where we're at right now with real estate and the stock market.
But I feel like everything is at its all-time high or all-time low all the time. I just don't get it anymore. Like,
so it is.
The fucking interest rate was at an all-time low last year, and now it's at an all-time low again. Like, what's going on?
But that holds a lot of people back, saying they don't want to buy when it's the most expensive. They want to buy when it's all-time low, right? Like the prices are all-time low. So when I was talking to my financial guy, I was like, hey, dude, the stock market's at all-time high right now. I'm like, should I wait and let it dip? The inauguration, maybe something happens and it dips a little bit. And he broke down the full history of the stock market. And he said, every time there's an all-time high, right? And he's like, if you're worried about the stock market dropping and not going higher than what it's at 30,000 right now, not the S&P, the Dow Jones, you're basically saying the companies, the top 500, the S&P 500, those companies don't want to make more money. Because for them to want to make more money, that means it's going to be another all-time high. So basically, Apple says, no, we're good. We don't need to make more money. We don't need to go to an all-time high again. We're good. No, they're going to want to make more money. So the stock's going to go to another all-time high. So it's going to keep happening until these companies for one day just demolish like the Roman Empire. Real estate is the same thing. Today, I'm showing my investor client. He's from out of state. He's here. He's looking at investment properties. He's bought investment properties for 20, 25 years, right? Mm-hmm. He's here now buying stuff. And he's like, dude, these prices are crazy right now. Crazy. I've never seen them like this. But he said, you know what? Every time I've bought a house, even in 1990, 1980, whenever it was always too expensive at the time.
Just constant.
He's like, the house I was going to buy in 1990 was $35,000. Like, it was too expensive. He's like, it was crazy.
Now he's looking at a place for like 350,000.
Yeah. So that's always going to happen, we think, right? So that's
Just
I
throwing
just
it
wanted
out
to put
there.
it in context.
I'm
Just
happy.
want to put it in context for everyone. What is your thoughts on that, real quick, before I hop into flips and buy and hold?
I'm happy you said that because there was a part of another book that I was listening to today that they were saying like one of the common things that always holds people back is like all the good deals are taken. The guy's like basically explaining all the good deals are always gonna be taken if you keep on passing up a good deal
Good deal.
all the time. But he
What book is that?
here it's I got really deep. I got like a few that I've listened to already. The one that I'm referring to in particular was The Millionaire Real Estate Investor
Mm,
by Gary.
Keller.
Yes. Yeah, Gary Keller. And then the one I read right before that was the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner. He's the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
from
Bigger
Bigger
Pockets
Pockets.
podcast.
Yeah,
Best podcast for real estate. I love that podcast.
right. It's been a very interesting week. I've learned a lot, and
Okay.
I've been checking out Zillow in like Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's like whatever, fuck it. Let me see what a 2-family, 3-family goes there for. And it was like
Yeah.
$185,000, something completely insane to the point where I'm like,
Yeah.
did I buy a
Yeah.
fucking 3-family in Albuquerque?
My clients from California, they bought a 3-unit here. They hit me back up. They're like, hey, we want to buy another 4-unit, 5-unit. I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, hey, by the way, we just bought one in Kentucky and Indianapolis. I was like, that's fucking great.
That is awesome. Who manages it? A company or they?
Property management. No, a property management company.
What are your thoughts on out of state buy and hold rental?
So this is the thing, right? It's hard to find good deals here, right? And Betty's been like, if you can't find it here, find it somewhere else.
I like that. Okay, so she's
And,
encouraging you. She's not holding you back.
yeah. And then me and my business partner have been going back and forth on it. And he, I've been saying, hey, we should look at outside things. But he's like, do we have the time right now? And who do we trust in these markets?
Nobody.
That unless I actually know someone there. So it's like we would have to do a lot of flying back and forth to find the right areas. And right now we're not at that position, but it is something we're definitely going to do probably in the next 2 years for sure.
Hold on for 1 second. I was doing a little
Texas,
bit of research right now.
Florida.
One of them is Texas. The other one was Florida. But number one on the list of places to invest in rental real estate. What?
Can I guess?
You sure? Yeah.
I'm not going to say Albuquerque because I think you just threw that out there, but Ohio.
It's up there, but it's Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Is it?
Yeah. Apparently, corporations are now investing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Netflix is about to invest a few billion in New Mexico, and it's very, very cheap versus how much the rent is. So I think that they did some like math, and Ohio is definitely good. It's up there, and Florida is definitely up there, but Albuquerque was definitely there.
That's not bad. That's a quick flight. It's a quick flight for me.
6-hour drive if you needed to get there same day. So I'm sort of curious how that would be. Like, just trying to wrap my head around it. I could probably do, say, Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, because you know people there. You could.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few people that are invested there that I could just say, I could ask like a few questions, like you've been in the game, you know, or hey, do you know a property manager, or like just in general stuff. But 6 hours away makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But the fact is that I think that's the whole point. Like, listen, Albuquerque, Ohio, I've never been to any of these fucking places, but apparently there's money to be had.
I've
So
had people buy here who've never been here and still have yet to come, and they've bought a house through me as an investment here and have never seen it.
that's kind of fucked up. Like,
It
buddy,
was my
sure
the
you don't want to just FaceTime me real quick? I'll go there.
my clients, the one that bought the triplex from California, they've never been here. They didn't come out the whole time. I would send them lists and say, go check it out. I would look at it, take a video. They would ask for my opinion, and then they bought one without even being here. But they're best friends with my cousin, so they trust me.
But do they
Okay.
trust the
So,
property? They are, you know, they're
well, at the end of the day,
purchase, you know. Was it inspected?
so yeah, inspection and all that. So all that's fine. So I've been reading another book, Apartment Syndication, and these people go buying places, apartments around the country, and they have a process, right? So it's like very simple, but you just have to have a team that you trust. You have to look at a couple of factors, right? The economy, market research, look at the area. So like there's areas within the area, right? So in Albuquerque is an area, but there's areas within Albuquerque. And if you find the wrong area, you could be thinking. So you got to do some market research on those areas. Second, look at the rents. Look at things around there. What are they building? Are there jobs? Are there companies? You want to look at that. The other thing is crime rates. You want to look at crime rates, all this stuff. The thing you need most is a real good real estate agent who you could trust. And that's the tough part if you don't know someone who's going to refer you to them. Because here in Phoenix, you could be somewhere, $700,000 homes, 2 blocks down, shithole, right? So if I'm a bad agent, I could tell you as an investor, hey, dude, this is the place you want to buy. There's $700,000 houses 2 blocks down. But if you don't know that's actually a shitty area, you could buy wrong. So that's why you have to have a good agent tell you the good areas. You run the numbers because you're going to get the rents. You're going to look at what you're getting paid, and then you get a property management company to manage it for you. So you never have to be here. So if there's anything wrong, they have vendors, they have contractors to come out, handyman to fix stuff. Now, the difference is if you have somewhere in Boston, an investment property, and if you have a property manager, they say, oh, the toilet went out. They're usually going to go to someone, and it's going to cost a little bit more. But you might know a plumber. Hey, I'm gonna send my guy, and so it's going to cost you a little more to manage a property far away because you don't have those connections.
So
does that make sense?
Yes. So it sounds like you don't like the idea of running a property from afar.
No, I do. I would hunt. No, I would still do it. It's just because the deal's going to be so good that you have so much more room to play and waste some money. You know, like the cost is.
Would you go there and see for yourself first? Are you that?
I have to.
You have to.
I have.
You don't feel right. You feel like weird, not like checking it.
Unless I knew someone really, really well, like an agent. In some markets, I do. I would trust them.
Still wouldn't. Like me personally, like I know people in but I still got to go and see what the fuck I'm buying.
I could get away with it because the thing is, I know a little bit now in real estate where I could kind of get away with it. I could do a lot of research online where I don't have to be there. And if the agent kind of knows the area really well, I don't need to see it. I really don't.
So question for you, assuming the place is decent, it's not a complete shithole, and assuming that the city itself or the area itself is not a complete dump, is it easy to fill a vacant rental? Like, is there always somebody that's gonna rent your shit? Is there like a common concern amongst? Because that's my worry. Is like, dude, like, what
Yeah.
if nobody wants to live in my property?
Yeah, and that's where the market research comes into place, right? Like it's called vacancy rate. So when you are doing a rental analysis on a property, you calculate 5% vacancy rate because it's going to be vacant at some point, right? So that goes into the math. But as far as someone wanting to rent your house, that's why it's important to have the area and the type of home that people are looking for, right? So like if you are in a family neighborhood, but you have a one bedroom apartment, because you like in your area, in my area in Tempe, college kids will rent a one bedroom apartment all day. But if buy a one bedroom apartment in a suburb, families don't want to live in a one bedroom apartment, so that's going to be vacant. So you got to have the product for the clientele. It's literally like a business. Like the product has to serve the clientele that is out there, right? And so that's just it's important what it is and where it is. So like my rental that we put up for rent the other 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, whenever I posted that, you know how many messages I got?
What'd you
Just
have?
throw. It was a 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
This was in your
Um,
dad's
yeah,
fourplex
yeah, the duplex, the one me and my dad have.
duplex.
Yeah, that I
What, 30
yeah.
messages?
30 is what you're going with.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
Wow. So I got a
Let me
question
see.
for you after you find that the list of people that called you.
Yeah, it's 123 people.
That's fucking absurd. Wow. Is it because you guys are in such a hot market?
There's a just like how there's a housing market shortage to buy, there's a housing rental. There's no rental houses. So it's the same thing. So it's
People
supply and
want to rent
demand.
right now, huh? Like renting is the
Well,
cool
some people
thing.
just have no choice too. So yeah. What was the question you were gonna ask?
What do you naturally gravitate to if we're talking rentals? Do you more gravitate towards like two bedroom duplexes and triplexes, or do you gravitate more towards like single family or even condos? What is not a wise purchase when you're trying to do like a whole rental? Because I know flipping, it's like anything goes, right?
Yes and no. It's actually the same technically. Not technically, but so my mentor, one of my mentors, he was a property management company. He owned a property management company back in the day for 20 years, managed thousands of properties. And I was looking at fourplexes and stuff, and he's like, "Don't ever sell your worst enemy a one bedroom apartment for a rental."
It's that bad, huh?
He just in this market, that's what he said. He's like, just it'll still rent right now. Like, don't get me wrong, it will rent. But he just said stick to 2 to 3 to 4 bed. Like Tempe right now, you want a 4 to 5 bedroom, right?
Oh.
Like Tempe, you want 4 to 5 because college kids are gonna.
They're doing the whole roommate thing, splitting rent.
Yeah, yeah. So it really depends where you are. One thing you want to stay away from is HOAs if you have a rental.
So
That's what Rich Dad Poor Dad says, by the way.
yeah, he was not a big fan of the whole HOA thing.
No.
He was not. I just don't understand. Like, why would anybody that considers themselves an investor invest in something that has an HOA? But there's people that do it. So I'm just, I'm sort of just still figuring out exactly what I want to go after, how much I'm going to be going after. And if it's something that I'm going to be doing with, a partner, I don't know, or I just do something on my own. I want to get into more and more of this as this conversation goes, but I just wanted to let you know what's sort of been on my mind. And I'm coming out of my shell a little bit in terms of, gambling a little bit. And I don't think it's really gambling when it comes to
Yeah.
real estate.
2, 3 years ago, you were just not even wanted to have that conversation.
I didn't think it was for me. This whole, but it is stressful though. You got to admit, Sean, like fucking being a landlord is not.
It sucks.
Like I
It's not
understand it's
fun.
gotten a lot easier. There's a lot of ways that technology has made it easier collecting rent and like dispatching a handyman if you don't have a property manager company, and like there's just all new ways of finding somebody to take care of something very last minute. But I just find myself always in the situation where like I'm all motivated, I'm all fired up to take on a new project, and then once I'm in it, I'm just like, dude, why the fuck did I agree to this? Because I've got like 50 other projects. So in the long term though, I just think it's fucking brilliant. Like why wouldn't anybody, and why doesn't everybody do this?
It's I think people are scared because there's risk involved. It's risky,
I
right? You
keep
could
on
lose.
hearing that, but I just after a while you're like, but there's risk involved in there's risk involved in driving your car down the street. Like, but you
Yeah,
got to get
yeah,
somewhere, right?
yeah. It's because you know what happened? People are scared more now because last time the market crashed and people had to lose their houses, and people are like, I don't want that to happen. So that's a you know, that's a big fear. But
Do
I
you think
think,
that people are just scared of defeat? Like they're scared of telling their friends that like we lost our house, or like, yeah, I
of
had to
course,
like, I lost my job, or like this. Like you guys are really scared about making the investment because you're worried about it getting gambled away in the you losing your job, or like you couldn't find a tenant to rent out. Like this shit all works itself out.
well, and this is what I'll tell people. Like, um, um, you have to like do your research. And I think back then a lot of people just did it because they saw like, oh, it's cool. Let me just buy an investment without doing any research. Now there's so many outlets available, right? Like, yes, the books, but there's YouTube, right? So many videos where you could kind of podcast, like the bigger podcasts where you could kind of learn how to analyze numbers. So when you get a deal, it's okay. Um, the numbers are there, like you account for the shit that's going to go wrong, the AC, the roof, um, all that stuff. So like, for instance, we have our flip. We had our budget. We're very meticulous with our budget, right? Like calculate everything that could go wrong because people are scared to do a flip because they're like, I could lose everything. But if you calculate and overestimate a little bit on everything, you have room. So we were very meticulous with our numbers. Contractor calls us the other day. Hey, the AC unit is brand new. He said, we need a new AC unit. Why? The AC unit that's built in 2020 is too small for the house. So we need a $6,000 new AC. Oh, and the new ducts. So it's $8,000 for the new duct work and everything.
No,
But
like how did this not?
it's our fault because we didn't inspect that like little part. We knew it was brand new. It's not enough for the house. But we have contingencies, right? We have contingencies in place where it's like 10, 15% of the budget. So it's like, okay, there goes a contingency. Now, if anything else goes wrong, okay, now we won't do this. we'll take away from that. We'll take away from that to like, and if you have enough spread, it's not going to affect you as much. So like, and that's the same thing with a rental, doing the numbers properly, doing your research. Betty hit me up, talked to me the other day, was like, hey, one of my friends wants to do some flips and they want to partner with you. See, would you want to partner? I was like, no. Like, have they read a fucking book on it? Like, do they know what it like? You have to be educated in the thing, in the fucking process. You can't start a business without educating yourself on the business, right?
Yeah, I would even say ask if you can like volunteer to work for a few days to even just see the inner workings of it. It's not I don't I don't see myself doing anything until I talk to like 50 people about it. It's
Yeah.
one thing to have one or two personally that you inherited or they just came about after you bought it for yourself, but now you want to get something else, but you want to keep that one. And then it's another thing to take on this as a whole business. Like you're trying to develop a portfolio of rental properties. You got to start one way and just continue doing it a certain way. I want to see how everybody else does it to make sure that I'm not killing
Missing
myself.
something.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're not missing something because I'm probably missing something, right?
Well, you're learning. You're paying the
Yeah.
price along the way. Like I guarantee you now, you will never buy another place again without making sure that that fucking AC unit that's the sign of somebody that has been there.
Yeah.
It comes with the experience. It's like those weird dads that fucking look at the weirdest shit. At
Yeah. They're looking.
Costco,
Yeah.
they're checking something out that fucked them
Yeah.
30 years ago. You know, like this is
So,
why the
yeah.
fucking they tap the watermelon so hard. It's to check for flat and
Like,
sometimes
yeah.
soft parts on it and
Yeah, like
cantaloupe
20 years ago, they got one. They went home and then
sludgy
it
in there.
fucking yeah. And then they're like, "Fuck! If I only tapped it." So now every time they go to the, they're tapping fucking watermelons.
Like they're all fine.
Why
They
is it
all just
only
got here. Like come on.
Why is it only immigrant parents that do that at the fucking store? So embarrassing. Um,
So yeah,
so you asked me, what would I prefer, flips or buy and holds?
yeah, yeah.
So that's a very good question, but you got to give me a little bit more. Like that's just like a, um, it's like, are you Democrat or Republican? Like you got to give me a little bit more context.
Okay.
Is this for you, for just the regular person? Like, what is? Give me the context, please.
Okay. So you are somebody that's trying to really diversify their portfolio and set themselves up for a long-term sort of passive income
Yes.
lifestyle. You're trying to get to your goal of financially putting yourself in a position where you don't have to worry so much about working a day job. Do you lean towards the flip direction or do you lean more towards the buy and hold rental income side?
So it's a good question, and it depends. Yes, the more passive income is the buy and holds, right? Where you're not doing as much and money's coming to you. Flips is more like a job, right? You have to to get into it. You got to look for deals. You got to go to the project. You got to manage it. You got to make sure everything's happening. Because at the end of the day, it's all on you. Like you could have a contractor, but if he doesn't look at the AC unit, it's your $8,000, not his, right? Like, um, um,
So do you find
the
yourself more at risk with flips? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Well, no, yes, no. So in flips, I try to use other people's money. So I'm a little less risk in that. If I lose a rental, I'm in foreclosure. I can't buy another house for like 7 years, whatever the fucking rule is. But this is what it comes down to. For buy and holds, you have to have patience, a lot of patience for a lot of work for nothing for a while, right? For flips, it's quicker money. And it's a lot of money sometimes. It's quick, fucking 3, 4, 5 months. You're going to make a lot of money. In buy and hold, it's going to take you years and years and to make all this money. So if you're patient, buy and holds are better. And as far as passive, like my business partner has a fourplex. He's making $3,000 a month on it, passive income. He's got it all streamlined. $3,000 a month is people's incomes, bro. That's just the one. So like as he gets more, and now three turns into six, turns into nine, turns into 12, do you have to work?
No, no.
Like restaurant, you have to be there every day, right?
Yeah.
A flip, you have to be there every day. Now there's more upside for quicker money. So that's the difference here.
So do you do both? Do you think that having both is like it's it's a good idea to do both if in case maybe you don't even want you don't want to have a job either. You just want to do flips as your
Yeah. You
flips and maybe
and
you're your own property manager. Is that what you're trying to is that where you trying to take yourself?
no, 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 no. I want to have a property manager eventually, have enough properties where I'm not even dealing with it. But the the goal would be to do flips to take that money to buy more rental properties. And also when you get flips sometimes, um, this other guy I follow, Thatch Win, he's like, you should always be every like 10 flips you do, you should keep three of them. So like, don't flip them, just keep them for rentals. And there's another strategy, and like this is going way too deep. It's called the Burr strategy.
Yeah, I heard it. The
Yeah,
buy,
buy,
renovate,
renovate, rent, uh,
refinance.
refinance, repeat. And when you refinance, you pull your money out and you get it back.
Right.
And it's like I've been for 6 months sitting there like this doesn't make sense. Like, how am I going to do this for free and get my money back? And and I've tried so hard to dispute this, but it's like it really literally is the case.
Yeah. Because if you buy a property for 100,000 and you do about like $20,000 worth of work, but that raises the value like 50,000,
Yeah.
you just developed 30,000 in equity. That
Yeah.
was your
Oh,
original down payment
yeah.
that you can now
And reno
apply and repeat. It's genius. It really it whoever invented this whole real estate thing is just I might get my license tomorrow and just become a real estate. I'm kidding. No, but
yeah, yeah.
low key, except for this podcast, I think I'm going to get into it because it's mind boggling that there's areas outside of Boston that are really cheap to buy, and they're making rent. I just thought Boston was just, but living in Boston is not going to help anybody mentally to the thought of investing in real estate because it's just
Well, yeah,
so
because
expensive.
so expensive, but rents are expensive unless you're buying big buildings and you have the capital. That's where it makes sense. To buy single family duplexes right now doesn't. I had my friend in New Jersey. It was the same thing. He sent me a deal. He's like, "Hey, what do you think of this for a rental?" I'm running the numbers. I'm like, "Dude, you're losing $200 a month." He's like, "Yeah, bro, that's sick." I'm like,
Oh, okay.
"I'm like, give
Conversation.
me that money. I'll make you. 800 a month here, bro. Like, what are you fucking talking
No, but
about?
in like 40 years, my kids will be all set. Yeah, but that's in 40 years, bro. You can't even refinance that. The interest rate is so low right now.
Yeah.
What are you going to
So it's
refinance it?
worth
I don't understand.
going in other places like your
I don't think I
Boston. It's
have a
just
choice. I don't even think it's a matter of worth it. I think you must go somewhere else. But that's okay. I'm very open to the idea that, hey, listen, if it requires me to, you know, become best friends with a fucking handyman somewhere else to like take care of shit the first few months, first couple of years, whatever. Especially if it's a
for you know,
triplex, that would be fucking
for you. It's going to come down to because you're busy with the restaurant, the business, and everything. YouTube, fucking thousand things you're doing. It's learning the knowledge for the next months, year, whatever it is. Learning, getting the verbiage down, understanding, and then looking at other areas, and then maybe like know someone who invested in like me that you just said Albuquerque. That's what I'm going to do tonight.
Let
Like
me know
I'm
how it goes
researching.
because now I'm interested too. Because I know that Phoenix, Tempe, it's getting a little bit too expensive for
It's
my.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think me and you both right now, we should probably have a side chat after this
Yeah.
regarding Columbus, Ohio, and like all these places.
I have friends who from California, real estate people who invest in Columbus, Ohio, because they've been traveling to Ohio like nonstop.
So I'm interested. I would love it for it to be somewhere where I could actually go there and like enjoy the place too. You know what I mean? But like not like a not Columbus,
Kentucky.
Ohio or fucking Kentucky. Maybe like a Nashville or like a
But see, Nashville's too hot now. It's booming. It's fucking too expensive. Austin, like all these places in Texas, it's fucking booming.
apparently Atlanta, Georgia is a good market now too.
I have a guy in
Alabama.
Atlanta though, so I have a guy in Atlanta. So if you need one, my boy's out there.
Thank you. I'll make sure to hit him
Um,
up after this podcast.
it's we didn't get to Bitcoin today. We're gonna have to touch on Bitcoin another day.
We'll see. As soon as it goes up to 65,000 next week, we'll we'll make sure to
What's gonna be first for you, stock market or real estate?
I should probably for the short term instead of putting money in under my in a coffee can under my bed, I should probably put it in
Stock
S
market.
and P. Yeah, at least for the next couple of years. I don't know. I definitely think it's going to be stock market because it's such a just a good place to keep your money for a few years. Then again, I heard it's not the best to put it in, even if it's short term. It's the best to put it in for like
The long
15,
term.
yeah, 30. That richest man in Babylon told me keep putting in 10%, take the gain, reinvest, and keep putting
Yeah.
in 10%.
I love that book.
So yeah,
I love that book.
very good book. It was referenced in Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Did you read The Richest Man in Babylon?
Yes, we had a discussion
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it and
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gold was a major thing, and being a landlord was a major thing.
Yeah. It's
So
like it's since the earliest of times. One thing, keep an eye out. I've been trying to research this. Ready? What's a good investment right now is sports cards, baseball, basketball cards.
man, don't ask me why I know this, but I know. I know because one of my good friends, he's always Instagramming some fucking weird story about how he just got rid of like a rookie Michael Jordan card for like 25,000.
Who is this? Do I know him?
He's a big nightclub promoter
Okay.
in Boston, so
Okay. I need to get in contact with him then
I'll
because
show you. Why you got some? You got some?
no, I want to get into it. want to buy a couple things and buy and hold them. Just
I have no idea what you or him are fucking talking about. So I'm just not even gonna. Yeah, I'll put you in touch with him for sure.
cool. All right. Well, this was good, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about ether and
Mining. Are you going to go mining?
RGB blockchaining next weekend. Next week on the podcast.
Yeah.
On the pod.
You know, we should actually do some research on this topic a little bit. I
Get a mining job
understand.
and all that. Yeah. I thought it was illegal to mine. No. Anyway, it's not a big deal. We'll talk about it next week. Talk about it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a Bitcoin expert.
Yeah, well, let's see who we can.
Those people on Instagram that are pushing everyone to buy Bitcoin.
Yes, the crypto experts.
Yeah, it's like a pyramid scheme. Hey, I want to get you on so you get your friends on.
It's multi-level marketing, actually.
I feel like that's what Bitcoin is.
Multi-level marketing. The multi-level currency. Yeah. You got Bitcoin, you got Ethereum, you got Litecoin, you got Joycoin, you got Snowcoin.
All right, we'll get into it. It was a pleasure today, Ari.
Good night, Shant.
Good night. Before I say good night, no more talking politics because we don't want to get censored again, by the way.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I love America and good night, everyone.
Long live America.